Fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Yeah. Blah diddy blah blah blah. I don't think that's how you're supposed to.
Damn good coffee and hot.
I wish.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
It makes me laugh. I know I've said this before, but I'm not going to make you laugh. I would love to be able to make you laugh. Not feeling it. Not feeling it at all. Damn, this band likes to play. They like to play long. Oh. Good morning, people of Earth. Welcome, and hope you're having a wonderful morning. It is Monday, your favorite day of the week, February 5th, 2024. Last week was a real train wreck. It had such promise to start off the week and ended in just a mess. And that kind of, getting that mood again, like, I've had enough of this. But I really can't have enough of this. I'm locked in. I'm under contract with myself to keep doing this in perpetuity. Forever and ever. There's got to be a way out. There has to be a way out. There has to be an exit door around here somewhere. This is somewhere around 560 shows of Coffee with the Dog. I've done almost 1,500 on the evening program. And, that's a lot of shows, man. That's a lot of hours. And at some point, you start to think, just where does it end? I think we've had every possible discussion that we could possibly have. Now, keep in mind that part of my mood is I am a creature of conditioning against my own good sometimes. And I've talked about how dates can fuck me up. And this is a tough week from January 31st to February 7th. Some pretty bad things have happened in my life. So reminders everywhere. And I don't know what we did before Facebook. But it gives you when you go through your memories, as I do almost every morning, it gives you some perspective on where you've been, what you've done, and what was going on along the journey. And seeing that 7 years ago, Nick was with the Rockin' 45s, Nick Galati, who I kind of idolized growing up. He was a guitar player who was really good he was a little bit older than me, and somebody I looked up to. And then he was playing bass in the band with the 45s for a brief period. And he still was acting like the lead guitar player and got in trouble with the drummers and all that stuff. I love Nick, but he was a lead bass player. He was out front stealing the limelight from Mikey. And the pictures in my Facebook memories kind of bring that back into focus. Some crazy stuff. Anyway, today we have no guest, and I wanted to talk about the Second Amendment being outdated, irrelevant, and a waste of time. I did intend on hooking up phone lines, so if people want to call in and argue with me, they could do that. I still might do that. I have not done that yet. I can probably do it if if there is interest in that. But I want to talk about the Second Amendment and what it means and how I think. Listen, I'm going to have this discussion or lay out my case, but I'm not trying to take anybody's guns away. That's the most important thing you should know about this. And I don't think there is a mechanism possible to take anybody's guns away in the United States of America. There's too many of them, too many yahoos, and how are you going to go around knocking on doors? We want your guns. That's not going to happen. But I do intend to show how the document that gun people rely on to make their justification for their right to have any gun they want, it's not the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is a waste, and it means nothing in today's world. And I hope to demonstrate that. I don't know why that idea came to me. I don't know. Maybe it was the divine intervention or something. But I want to put this idea out on my campaign page. Yes, I'm still running for Congress, by the way. So there's that. I also, we talked about this idea of weather people inventing new terms. Atmospheric river. There's an atmospheric river. I've never heard that one before, but we used to just call it heavy rain. California is, they say it never rains in Southern California. They lie. It's getting, 6 inches of rain in one day or something. Crazy numbers. Flooding, landslides, mudslides, whatever you want to call them. Gushy landslides. That's what we'll call them. And we hope everybody's all right out there. Crazy weather, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in the Grammys and Miley Cyrus's dress, you probably came to the wrong show. I don't really have much to say about that. I just want to say that I do think Miley Cyrus is turning into a middle-aged Jane Fonda lookalike. Yeah. I know you're saying, what the fuck? Take a good look at Jane Fonda around 30, 35, and take another look at Miley Cyrus's face now. They're the same person. Yeah, you're probably saying, what the fuck, dog? You need new glasses. No, look at the photos. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the Grammys, I'm not interested in the Grammys. It's kind of a depressing weekend. As you know, there was a memorial, or you might not know, or you may know, a memorial for Lee yesterday. Lee, as I mentioned, was kind of, I don't want to say obsessed. The Grammys meant a lot to him. For some reason, always did. The very first conversation I had with him was, how many Grammys do I have? Meaning, like, you're nobody if you don't have a Grammy, and you don't have a right to an opinion about music if you don't have a Grammy. You're like, wait a minute. The Grammys are just another award show, and basically we have award shows every day of the week now for something or other. Believe it or not, probably about 15 years ago or so, I was involved with the National North American Hairdressers Association award shows in Las Vegas every year. And it was a big gala. It was held at the Mandalay Bay and Luxor hotels combined, and would sell out. And it would be like the Oscars for hairdressers. Every day of the week, there is another award show going on. Today is National Plumbers Awards or something. There is always an award show with lots of glitz and glamour. It doesn't really mean anything. It's a marketing tool. It is an ego boost, and at the end of the day, it does not really make a comment on the quality of art or art, anything about art, whether it's good, bad, or anything. It's all about sales, and it's all about selling more. It's all about pushing product. So if you care about the Grammys, you probably came to the wrong place, because I didn't watch it. I never watch it, and I don't know anything about it other than Miley Cyrus had a crazy dress. Maybe I know a couple more things about it, but that's almost the extent of my knowledge of it. Willie, I almost said Willie and Waylon. Willie and GD are in the background. I'm going to bring them in. Just want to change the background here before I do that. Oh, Willie's not there. Willie has wandered from his seat. Let's say hello to GD while we're waiting for Willie to wander back. Good morning. You have no sound, my friend. That son of a bitchin' sound. Well, I'll do GG's voice. Good morning. If your cup is as empty as my bowels, I don't know what he would say. Anyway, Willie's there. Good morning.
What's up, guys?
Nothing's up with GD. He has no sound.
I heard that. So just so you know, I do have some Grammy news. I even made a graphic. I put it in the overlays. You want me to do that quick while he's figuring out his sound?
You got to learn how to do it in the overlays if you're going to do it, because it just covers you up. But go ahead, talk about this.
Well, that's okay though. I don't care that it covers me. All right. So high-class white trash singer Taylor Swift had a usual night at the Grammys, taking home trophies and then being told by a black man that Beyonce should have won.
Wow.
Listen, Taylor, I can help you fix this problem. Eat some junk food and do some squats. Get yourself a Nicki Minaj ass, and then black men in the music industry will finally respect you. Miley Cyrus won her first Grammy for her solo performance of Flowers, or should I say she was deflowered by the Academy. The Beatles won their first Grammy in over 30 years. They won Best Video for the song I Am Only Sleeping. Call me crazy, but I thought for sure 2 or 3 of them were dead. But you know how bugs are. And former First Lady Michelle Obama took home a Grammy as well. This is her second Grammy. She won a Grammy in 2020 for her memoir Becoming, which I believe was about her transition. Speaking of transitions, Dave Chappelle won his 5th comedy album of the year for his album What Is in a Name. Funny, I thought the album was called What Is in Your Pants. What Was Made for You by Billie Eilish was the song of the year, bringing even more acclaim to the Barbie movie that Matt and GD are sure to never watch. And that's the Grammy news.
Grammy news. Your buddy Jelly Roll was taking the high road about he didn't win, but whoever did win deserved to win. Victoria something. But he was taking the high road on Twitter, which is it's good to see somebody. I've never really seen anybody actually go to social media to say I lost and I deserve to lose. The person who won was did better work. So he said you'll be back next year better and more inspired and all that kind of stuff. It's an unusual thing.
I mean, I'm sure that Jelly Roll was just glad to be nominated and glad to be there. Because that's like, I mean, I connect with Jelly Roll a lot because I feel that way. I know what it's like to think that that's only stuff that you can dream about. And, so I think that him, because I watched like the video of him calling his mom to tell him that he was nominated and stuff. And so, it doesn't surprise me at all that Jelly Roll had that point of view. And I think that he fully believes that he'll be back. And I expect him to be back at the Grammys someday, but yeah, I mean, and he's already, gotten a lot of acclaim. Acclaim is not what Jelly Roll is after. You know what I mean?
JD, you got sound yet? No? Nope. You got no
sure
sound.
don't. Nope. This guy.
What do you do, man? What do you do? You change stuff. You should never once things work, don't ever change stuff. I don't know if there was a church yesterday. It doesn't appear there was a church.
I was there. I was there for about 6 or 7 minutes, and I was like, all right, well, I guess there's no church. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there was. I don't. It's still in the bucket, so I guess there wasn't one. So before I get on to the Second Amendment stuff, and Shane Gillis is hosting Saturday Night Live on February 24th. Which
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
God, fucking assassinates their asses.
Well, it's good for him. First of all, I don't like the show. I can't say I don't like the show. I haven't been interested in the show since the 70s. But I do know, we covered it when he got fired, and I thought that was kind of bogus, And a couple of questions. First of all, who got him fired? Like what happened was he was up and coming comic. He got the cast member thing on Saturday Night Live, and somebody went digging through podcast clips to find them to say, look, this guy's no good. Who is that person who got jealous and wanted to bury him and get him fired? That person has never been uncovered. That's interesting to me. Like who's the backstabbing, jealous little petty fuck who went to look for comments that would make him look bad? Then NBC fired him, calling him racist and homophobic.
Right.
Then he got successful, much more successful, and now he's coming back as a host. Does that mean he's no longer racist and homophobic, or does his success make the fact that they still believe he's racist and homophobic irrelevant? We don't care. It's okay.
Okay. I mean, to answer that, all you got to do is look at how many fucking movies Harvey Weinstein has been involved in since that stuff came out, and people still work with this fucking dude all the fucking time. You know what I mean? So there's definitely a degree to that. Like if you've reached a certain amount of success, they don't really give a fuck what you do to a certain point. You know what I mean? And
you think that Lorne Michaels still believes that Shane Michaels is a racist and a homophobe, or has he changed his mind?
He probably believed it in the first place, but like whatever that pressure was, they didn't want to deal with it at the time. But you also have to remember that you're dealing with it for somebody that's an unknown, and there's also he's also kind of cleared himself of that quite a bit since then. Also, you know what I mean?
I don't think he's ever even really addressed the fact that he never said I'm not a racist or I'm not a homophobe. He just let it be. Right.
But I mean, I guess what clears him of it is like seeing how I've seen him interact in a number of different ways, and I've never seen him like, the things that I see him be funny. I see him tell jokes. I don't see him be racist.
But I don't think you ever see. Well, no, that's not true. But you know what? It doesn't. You know what? I don't think he really cleared himself. I don't know if he's racist or homophobe. I don't think he has an agenda to be racist or homophobe, and I don't think he ever did. But I also think it was a bad decision because I think even under that pressure that that was coming about because people were digging shit up, it would have helped their ratings. SNL is not. I mean, just to have him on.
I don't know about him, but I know me personally. Listen, from everything I know about Shane Gillis, this is going to be a one-off for sure, because I don't see him not taking the shots.
Right.
Like especially because
Norm did it
and everything.
Yeah.
Listen, he's definitely going to take some shots at them, and they're probably never going to invite him back. They're going to be sorry they did this in the end, I think.
I think I disagree. I think I disagree. I think he'll take some shots. I don't think that will mean his last appearance there. Norm took some shots at them, and it went over very well. Norm basically took the same kind of question as, they fired me for not being funny. A year and a half later, am I funnier? No, the show sucks. That's why I'm here. So I don't think it'll necessarily be the last. GD, you got sound? Say something.
You tell me.
You got sound.
Yay!
Okay.
Now don't ever touch your stuff.
I don't touch it. That's just it. When I go on, I test it. I see all the meters, do all the good things, and that's it. And then once you bring me on, my sound goes away.
Listen, we have videos of you touching it.
Yeah, no, you don't, because I never touch it on camera.
And unless you click the link that's in your, unless you click your link, we have a way of turning your webcam on when you don't even know. Unless you click the link,
you don't, because I have tape over it.
Unless you click the link that's in your email now,
that does not.
We will send the videos of you touching it to everyone you know and work with.
Oh my God, you sound just like the scammers and extorters on Messenger.
Yes, I know.
Okay, if I can make one admission, there was a church of last resort yesterday. It did run from 9 to 10. Someone forgot to hit the go live button. They did the entire show and did not hit, they hit the introduction.
Here,
they did everything except for the go live button. They did the introduction, they did the fuck yes, the everything. Even had a fucking commercial.
You did a dry rehearsal. You did a dry run.
Even had a fucking commercial and everything. And my wife said, "How was the show?" And I said, "I don't think I recorded it." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "At the end, at 10 o'clock, I went to go hit the end button, and it was still blue." And I went, "So I don't remember hitting it, and I don't remember not hitting it." And she goes, "Well, how will you find out?" I said, "I'm going to check YouTube and see if it's there." And it wasn't there. And I said, I'm going to give it a couple hours and see if it shows up. And it wasn't there. And I said, I don't think I recorded it. I don't think I hit the go live button. And my wife says, well, it sounded good. It sounds like you can use it again next week.
If you can remember it, yeah, do it again next week. Now,
that's just it. Most of it was improv. I don't know. Most of the churches, Lounge Resort, is improv. I just make notes of the topics I want to talk about, so I don't go too far astray.
Wow.
And so I have no fucking idea. And I erased the whiteboard, so I don't even have those notes.
I've made a lot of mistakes. I don't think I've made that one. I really don't think I've made that mistake of thinking I was live and not being live, not doing anything. I've made a lot of mistakes on the technical ends, but that's one that is escaped. I've yet to make that. I'll probably make that soon.
I can't blame the Reverend. The Reverend had his hands full keeping everything else. My responsibility, the only job I had was to hit the go live button and leave the room.
He had his hands full because he was touching it.
Good job, GD.
Yeah, so all I had to do was hit go live and leave the room because I set up everything else so that he can control everything from the pulpit. And so he didn't need me anymore. All I had to do was hit the go live button. And
you failed.
I failed. I failed him.
Speaking of failure, I also failed to become the funniest person of the year, but fucking Jerry Irby did. Our buddy Jerry Irby won funniest person of the year. I'm very excited for him.
Wow.
I failed.
Now, was that this year or last year? I mean, was it 2023?
So it was funniest person of 2023 competition. Yeah. It was all the Brinkman winners from the previous year got together. It was supposed to happen in January, but it was so fucking cold here that we couldn't even have a fucking show. Like, yeah, it was terrible.
All right. Now,
if I could just answer Kelly. Kelly, it depends on who you ask. If you ask Willie, no, I don't know anything about comedy, so no, I'm not funny. So there's your answer.
Okay. Infantry. Infantry.
I think she was typing if a tree falls.
Like, what the hell? Infantry.
GD, okay, if
that's
falls and no one hears it, is GD still funny?
I gotta say, man, you are getting good at Kelly translations.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. I would have never guessed. It would have took me hours to figure out that was if a tree falls. Wow. Yeah. I thought it was fails. So I was like, infantry fails. What the hell?
That's fucking great.
My eyes are getting worse and worse, by the way. The thing I've said about weathermen making stuff up. Have either of you guys ever heard of an atmospheric river before today or yesterday?
No, I have not heard the term.
I have, but it was only because of the Weather Channel. I used to watch the Weather Channel. Okay?
I think they're making shit up because weather is it's like it hasn't had a upgrade in 100 years, and they want to make it more appealable. They're trying to bring in younger generation. Let's call it the Taylor Swift storm or something. Anything to bring in young people to get interested in weather again. It's like that. It's a marketing.
The next step will be to start naming hurricanes after celebrities. I think that would be probably the next step.
Right. Yeah.
God, I would hate to get hit by the Amber Heard. Ugh.
Shit, that's a shitstorm.
Yeah, that's a real shitstorm.
But I am a little bit, on the serious side, I'm a little concerned about California. I mean, mudslides and all that stuff, dangerous stuff, houses falling off the road and all, crazy shit. Weather is what it is, man. Fucking, you never know. You just never know. And so, I did want to talk about the Second Amendment today. You guys are up for this. I hope you'll argue with me about this. But my premise here is that the Second Amendment is irrelevant, old, and worthless as a piece to base law on and rights on. And here I want to tell you what it says, because this is important. It's got 27 words. A lot of these words are really important. And a lot of people just want to take certain snippets of the word. It says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, the gun people like to just cling to the shall not be infringed part, and they don't even they don't even throw in the keep and bear arms, which means something. All these words are important. Well, if we start out with a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, that basically outlines the purpose of it. And then the second part, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Means that now what does it mean? Does it say individuals in there? It says the people.
My copy doesn't have the and, so I just thought it was to keep bear arms, and now I feel really stupid.
Well, I should have prefaced this, but there is a opportunity for G.D. Fenderson, humor in arms being what attaches your hands to your body, type of language in there. So let's just bypass that for now. I don't think if you examine what this really says, I don't think the people who even are the most gung-ho gun people even agree with this. And we could start out by a well-regulated militia.
Yeah, that's the first part they don't agree with. Well-regulated.
Well-regulated, yeah, because regulated means there are regulations and laws in place that keep things in check. But it's also about being necessary to the security of the state, meaning to keep the nation free. So there's that part of it. And then the one they cling to is the right to what shall not be infringed. There are infringements, and I think everybody wants those infringements. And let me explain what I mean. First of all, if we take arms, the word arms, and they're not the GD version of what arms mean. In those days, arms were muskets, bayonets, maybe a rock, a tomahawk. Well, arms were a whole lot of things that they're not today. What do arms mean today? It means not just guns. Tanks, atomic weapons, biological and cyber weapons. So the idea of anthrax, do we all have the right to keep anthrax? And do you trust your neighbor to have an anthrax lab in his house? Or any of that? So I think most gun people, if you talk to them about, do you agree with that bare arms? Out there and think, yeah, everybody has a right to a gun. We're not just talking about guns. We're talking about box cutter knives, everything from box cutter knives to bioweapons, a COVID lab or a pandemic lab in your neighbor's house. Or, does everybody have the right to that? I think most gun owners would say, no, we don't want. I don't trust all my neighbors. You have to admit that there are some people in society who can't be trusted with an anthrax lab in their house just to keep it safe, or a bioweapons lab. So I would think that most people who are relying on this document right there, that would stop them and say, yeah, we need something to keep that from happening. And that is an infringement. So right away, this becomes complete. As soon as you agree to one infringement, one tiny infringement, the whole thing becomes just a waste. So basically, I'm not saying I want to take guns away. I'm saying this: we have to agree that this piece of legislation this amendment that was written into the Constitution by a bunch of Englishmen in wigs and makeup and high heels is an outdated piece of shit, and you can't base anything in society on this statement. Is what it is. Any disagreement so far? Will you can disagree?
Yeah. Go ahead, Willie. Well, actually, Willie is against arms anyway because he's the one that tried to strangle a deer barehanded, which is the way God intended. So
yeah. Listen. So I mean, honestly, I'm probably a part of the people who say honestly, people should be able to have whatever they might come against if they had to overthrow the government if it came to that point. Because that is the intended purpose of the Second Amendment. That if your government gets too big for its fucking britches, it is the responsibility of the people to put the fucking pants back on. And we should have whatever we need in order to make that happen, if that is actually what becomes necessary.
So do we shoot the Supreme Court because they overturned Roe v. Wade?
I mean, you know, I definitely would like to see rational and peaceful solution to the problems that we have in this country. One of those being that, like, the vote of the people on issues like that is what should matter. It shouldn't be a Supreme Court fucking issue. It should be like, what does the nation say? You know what I mean? In my opinion, because then the voice of the people is what's being heard. If your representatives aren't representing you, then you know what I mean. And if the justices, I mean, you know, there's been a lot of problems with the Supreme Court. I'll be honest with you. I stay mostly out of that end of it. I look much more at what Congress is doing to stuff like that. But I do believe that we have to have the the
Who has to have the ability?
The people. The people.
Everybody. So a homeless guy on the street should have the right to have an anthrax lab.
Okay, well, hang on a second.
No. You can't say the people and not define who the people are. Is it everybody?
Okay. Well, it says right in the very beginning, the people that we're talking about, a well-regulated militia. Okay. So maybe, you know, I'm not saying every Tom, Dick, and Harry needs to have access to an arsenal, but there should be a group of people that we fucking trust with our national fucking security. That's not the fucking NSA and not the fucking military, but a group that's made up by the people, of the people, a well-regulated militia. And that militia should have access to anything they need that would put themselves in power over the government if that came to be what needed to happen. And the only way that should ever happen is if the American people said that it should. They should be
first of all, you're conflating two different things. The well-regulated militia and the right of the people are not connected in there. It says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, meaning there should be arms in regulated to take up arms. A group of people, not everybody. It's not everybody. Now, who gets to choose those people? Who gets to say who's in that militia? Everybody, right? Who you're saying the people have to agree on that? Well, who?
You know, I mean, if you wanted to make it a perfect world, I would say that, like, yeah, like you're.
I'm not saying. Hold on. People. I'm not trying to get a perfect world here. I'm trying to say that this statement, this amendment as written.
Okay, but what you're describing, though, you are trying to get a perfect world. You're saying make it make sense. Okay, if you You're taking it and separating each section. Put it all together, Matt.
I did put it all together. The point I'm making is it's outdated for today's world. Again, you think anybody should have you think a well-regulated militia, some guys you just want to decide on, can have an anthrax lab or pandemic bioweapons?
I think that they should be able to be prepared for whatever they might have to come against.
And how do you determine the trust of them versus the trust of the government?
No, it's murky. It's tricky stuff.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
But if you don't think it's necessary, if you don't think that there needs to be
possible
that's going to check the government when it needs to get checked, you think that's not necessary?
How do you check the government? How do you do that? Again, they have bioweapons, they have cyber weapons, they have all sorts of things like that. They have atomic weapons. They have space tools. How are you going to keep them in check? Did you see Waco? Have you seen the tapes from Waco? That's what happens when they were well armed. Were they not? They were pretty well armed. What happened? The government came in with overpowering force that you can't possibly match. Do you really believe it's possible?
That's literally how the American military functions.
Right. So right. I agree. So now how can we designate a group, a militia, a local militia, to stand up to that?
Not just a local militia, but like a series of local
militia. 1,000 of them. You could have 1,000,000 of them. How are they going to stand up to that?
Right.
How? Is it possible?
A lot of things are possible. I mean, a lot of people didn't think that America would ever overthrow England and get its independence.
Again, we're not talking about what possibilities are in that realm. I'm talking about in the possibility of defending against a nation with bioweapons. You trust people you don't know. You're going to trust, the government already has them. You just want to put out, I want to trust in somebody out there to hold and house bioweapons safely. Who's that going to be? You have a neighbor that can you trust having a biolab next to your house with a pandemic?
The real truth of it, Matt, is if you think these things aren't already existing and out there and random and we don't know about them, you're sorely mistaken. Believe me, they already exist. They exist in other countries. That's why we got a CIA that goes, you know what I mean? That's why they go and do what they do. You think that's not happening on our soil?
No, I'm saying
here in America.
That's not what I'm saying. You just you're defending something.
It doesn't exist. You're like, who?
No, I'm saying, who do you fucking trust to do that? It's all about trust. You're saying you don't trust the government. Who do you trust? You trust your neighbors to have a biolab next door? The people next door to you, you trust them to have one?
I don't know them. I don't know, Matt.
So then if you don't know them, we can say the answer is you don't trust them.
Okay, so I don't know if you're realizing this, but the sick problem of it is you can't trust anybody because you also don't trust the government, right?
Right.
Correct. I mean, they've lied to us about everything for pretty much the whole fucking time.
Right.
So who do you trust then?
I don't trust anybody. That's the point.
Is that why you want to take away the ability for people to do anything?
I opened up by saying I don't want to take away the ability for anybody. I want to say that this document.
Okay, well, I'm also not okay. Listen, I understand that there are many different modes.
You don't seem to understand anything at this point. You're arguing that I am trying to take away the rights of the people. I'm not. And I'm saying this document that we base that on is outdated and needs to be revised.
Sure. Yes, it does need revision. The whole fucking system needs revision, Matt, from top to bottom.
I don't know about the whole system from top to bottom. I think the system has worked for 250 years.
You think
that's a whole?
This is what you call working? I don't think this is what.
Oh, I will agree that in the last 8 years
is working.
We have.
I mean,
Your infrastructure works.
The roads are okay.
The roads are okay.
Technically,
airlines,
the government is
landing.
working. Technically, the
Right. So
government is working.
infrastructure, because infrastructure is intact, you call that working?
Well, we're here talking. This is working, isn't it? This is based on the government-based internet. The American government created this internet. There are lots of things that work within the government, and yes, and the system has worked for 250 years. I would agree. In the last 8 to 10 years, things have really,
I'd say it's
really
not
gone
working
to hell
anymore.
There are aspects that are working. There are aspects, and we don't know. So you could say you can judge on a daily basis, or you can judge on the long term and sit back and say, well, how did it work out in the long run? We could have said that during the Nixon administration, the government isn't working, but it righted itself. It basically found solutions to those issues that it dealt with and righted itself. And you can't judge what's happening today by what the news is tomorrow or even this evening. You have to sit back in 10 years from now, look at it and say, did it work? But the basis of this document, which is really what this discussion is about, this document says nothing relative to the world we live in. It's talking about arms. Arms at the time were muskets and bayonets. It wasn't talking about biolabs. It wasn't talking about satellites. It wasn't talking about cyber warfare systems, pandemics, all that kind of stuff. This document and the thing that all these people want to base the law on is outdated and irrelevant.
The other thing that needs to be defined is free state.
Right.
The security of a free state. Some people interpret that to mean the rights of states, like states' rights, like each state, but we don't defend each state. We defend the country. So we don't know when they said a free state, if they're talking about the free state like the United States, the free state, the state of the country, the state of what's good for everybody, or if they meant free states. I'd be interested to see like the original, to see how like for example here, the word state is capitalized, like it's a proper noun. I'd like to see how it's used in other portions of the Constitution. Is there a place when they use, lowercase states? Because that helps to interpret this thing, is what they mean by free state.
Mike Chavola, is this a gun discussion or a biolab discussion? It's neither. It's a discussion of the document that the gun rights are often based upon, and the document itself is irrelevant in today's world. That's the point. None of this applies to the modern world. A well-regulated militia, we don't have well-regulated militias. We have National Guards, which are also part of the U.S. military. They are the United States government. So that idea of a militia that is going to fight against the government, we're seeing that in a little bit in Texas and these other states that are looking to stand up to the United States government. The National Guard, which is paid for and subsidized by the federal government, wants to stand up against the government. So well-regulated militia, that part is outdated already. Free state, as GD was just talking about, this becomes a conflict between the states and the government. And what do they mean by that? The next part of it is the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Well, who are the people? Does that mean everybody? Does that mean the homeless guy on your street? Or does that mean the people as a mass? And if that's what it means, then the people already have those weapons, and it's not an individual thing. Individuals are not listed here. And arms, again, arms in those days were bayonets, muskets, those kind of things. So wait a minute. The last part of that, the shall not be infringed, we agree that some things need to be infringed. In other words, we don't want to get, you don't go to a mental institution and hand out AR-15s and say, okay, everybody. So there's an infringement there. There is an infringement.
That'd make the world real interesting, though, wouldn't it?
Well, also back when they wrote this, the people, if I understand this correctly, were white male landowners. Blacks and slaves could not own guns back then.
Right.
If I'm incorrect, Please correct me. So it was not all of the people, but at least not by design and not by intention. It was white male landowners. So if they want to bring that forward, then if you live in an apartment, then you can't own a gun.
Right.
So
the bottom,
or you can live in an apartment, but you have to own land. So
yeah,
the
bottom line.
That's an interesting take too, GD.
My point, big overriding point here is that this document was written 250 years ago by people who have no connection to the modern world, and it definitely needs some revision. And where do we even start with that? But I think everybody would agree with this. If you take it apart and just look at what it says, it doesn't apply to today's world. Now, again, I'm not trying to take rights away from anybody. I'm not trying to take anybody's guns. I said right from the beginning, I don't think it would be possible to de-gun America the way Australia did. I don't think with 350 million guns, you could ever expect people to knock on your door and say, give me your guns. I'm saying this document that we fall back on every time we have these discussions as the foundation of all this stuff means nothing. It was written by a bunch of men in makeup and high heels who basically some of them anyway, started their lives in Europe. It has no connection to today's world. And so we can't really come back to this. Anytime we have these discussions about these things, we need to come back to what's reality and how does it apply in today's world? Because again, arms are box cutter knives are arms. And I think anybody would agree, I think we agreed as a nation that we can't let people with box cutter knives on airplanes, right? Right. So that's an infringement. So that's an infringement and shall not be infringed. It was just negated by just that much. So this document means nothing.
I'm definitely. What is that? I don't know. Okay. I definitely would agree that, and part of the beauty of the Constitution was it was written in a way that it could be revised. You know what I mean? And obviously we've made, like you're saying, we've already made a lot of infringements, a lot of concessions on what should and shouldn't be allowed. And I think like people with mental health problems or whatever, like that's part of why I don't own a gun. You know what I mean? Like I don't own a gun because it's just not a good idea for me to have one, because sometimes my head goes places that are not good. And so, you know, for myself, for others, I don't do that. And I don't really put myself around that much, you know? So I mean, it's not that I don't agree with limitation, but I also believe that the American people must always be sure to have a way from underneath their government, because without that we're not really free, period. If that's not true, we're not really free.
That discussion is kind of a little bit separate from the Second Amendment discussion, but we're never going to be out from under the government because we are part of the United States, period. You know, there are rules and regulations, so that's not going to happen. As far as trust goes, you know,
I don't know if I agree with that, TD. The people in the USSR were part of the United Socialist States. They're out from that. Oh, most of them are. Ukraine might be sucked back into it again. Part of it is, yeah, we have to have a way to rebel against government. Sure, if a government becomes tyrannical, but what does that mean and what does that look like? It definitely doesn't mean that everybody. Again, I come back to you want your homeless guy to have a anthrax on him. The people on the street, the people bear arms. And arms means so much more now. And where does it draw the line? Again, Waco was well armed, but the government says we got more than that. And the government will always have more than that because there is no, even you put Musk, Bezos, and all the billionaires together, they're not going to be able to fight a Pentagon that has 10 times what all of them have. They would spend trillions, and they have billions.
Any movement against the government is to be successful is going to have to be about strategy and not about might. Because when it comes to like military might, I mean, the world knows who the powerhouse is. You know what I mean? And the military strategy of the government is overkill for sure. Like if they want to not deal with something, they'll overkill it right fucking now.
How we keep going back to overthrowing the government from the Second Amendment?
Well, that's the purpose of it certainly appears that way in what it's written for. Well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state definitely lends itself to the idea that the right to bear arms is meant to protect yourself from the government. Notice it says nothing about like hunting or those people who bring in arms and stuff. Well, yeah, that's a whole other discussion. The right to have a tool to hunt with is a whole other thing. But now, the purpose seems to be to stand up against your own government or to stand up against Britain, as it was written in 1792 or whatever the Second Amendment was written. So that
Okay, my understanding, another interpretation, and this, of course, is from a totally different point of view. This was written like what, 1792, when was this written? I can't remember when it was. No, not 92. When was it written? But no, my understanding was it was written like a year or two after a slave rebellion in Haiti. And shortly after, it's like, okay, we cannot let it happen here what happened in Haiti. We need to protect ourselves. We need to be able to keep our states free from the slave rebellions and stuff like that, which is part of the reason why slaves still could not own guns. But my thing is, if you're worried about the government taking over, then you want everybody to have a gun who can help you fight, which would be black and white and women. But if you only want white men to have guns, then you're not concerned about the government. You're concerned about something that's not white and male. That's just that's just my take on it.
Right. Chabot is talking about a court ruling in D.C. that interpreted the Second Amendment to say about individual rights, but it does not say anything about individual rights. It says a well-regulated militia. Again, the words matter here. And the point of this is not to overturn court decisions or court interpretations or the way the Supreme Court of the United States determines what it means. But right. The actual words, a well-regulated militia, doesn't say anything about individuals in here. It says the people. And what do the people mean? And if you want to say the people come down to individuals, then you have to admit that individuals means all 334 million, 340 million people right. that live within the United States as citizens. And it doesn't even say citizens, because it could actually be foreign people. As long as you're in the United States, your rights are protected under this, according to this. The people doesn't say citizens. It says people. But you're talking about, and I know there are 7 million or so people who are without residence in the world, in the United States. And those people living on the streets, some of them have mental illness, drug problems, all this kind of issues. Does it apply to them equally as it does to you? Is that really what you think the intent of this law is? That go ahead.
I'll tell you for sure that some of those 7 million homeless people definitely have guns.
No, without a doubt, they have them. But do you think that's the intent of this document?
No. But how bad of a problem was homelessness in the 1700s?
Exactly. That's exactly the point. None of this is relevant to today's world because it was written. It might as well have been written. It'd be BC. if that's how much relevance it has to this world. Arms, again, in those days was something completely different than arms. They never, first of all, they never envisioned airplanes, or so they couldn't have envisioned people getting on an airplane with a box cutter knife to take down a country. But you know what? Those guys with box, if you believe the story, the narrative, guys with box cutter knives killed more people in a single day than any war that we've had in this country, or any single act in a war. So you have that. Wolverines.
I'm sorry, I can't read Metcalf's Wolverine. That's a Red Dawn reference for you that don't know. That's fucking beautiful. That made me laugh hard.
Again, the point here is the document of all this stuff is irrelevant to today's world. It doesn't make any sense in today's world. None of it does. So I think it needs to be rewritten.
I'm definitely of the school of thought that we could use an update of our Constitution. That's for sure.
Well, that's that
was their intention. I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, that's a whole other thing. You know, people want to say the Constitution is a living, breathing document, but every time we come back to that discussion, it's like, well, you know, everything. People who are traditionalists want to keep everything as written. And you know, it's not just the Second Amendment when we come to that. It's all of it. It's the entire thing. Anytime, you know, we're looking at new amendments and you know, all those kind of things, that it always comes back to traditionalists versus people who see it as a living, breathing document, and then people who want to say it's not a living, breathing document only for their purposes, for their limited one issue that they are trying to put, their agenda that they're trying to put forward. It's an interesting thought thing, but big time, I don't think we can say the people is every individual in the United States. It just doesn't. What does he say? Sour Saudis? Sour?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. But yes, maybe 4. Could it be 4? No, I don't know. Maybe he meant 4 Saudis. No, there were 19 on, but one plane they had 4 guys supposedly. But anyway, so I don't think that, you know, when we come down to individuals, there are plenty of individuals you don't want, and I think we can all agree on there are some that some of us don't want to have the latest, greatest arms available. Do you want your neighbor to have a tank? If you like your neighbor, yeah. If you don't agree with your neighbor, no.
Listen, so I mean, I will say that I'm not opposed to people having to, and I think you can. I think you actually can own a tank. You got to get like a special permit or something, because I know there's people that own tanks. Maybe it's by state or something like that.
And they may not be functional. They just may be able to roll them or use them as paperweights, but they cannot fire them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can say that when the guy comes to check it, and then like if you know what if you happen to be in the military and know that kind of shit, you can fucking just change it back right after. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the point I was making is not what it's. Do you want your neighbor having a tank? And the answer to that comes down to if I think he's a good guy, yes. If I think he's a bad guy, no. It's always an individual thing. So basically, it all comes down to that. So that we have, I think you would agree that there are people within this society, within the 340 million people that we have in America, there are people you don't want to have a biolab. Yes or no?
Of course.
Look, there are people in this country that I don't even want them to have zip guns and slingshots.
Yeah, there are people in this country. I don't want having anything really. Slingshot is a good analogy there. But yeah, there are people you don't want having anything. So that comes down to an infringement. Basically, with everybody thinks there should be some infringement there. Even the people who live and die by this document, who come back to shall not be infringed, there are some infringements. You don't want the guy you don't like having the weapons that you don't want him to have. In other words,
now by infringement, but it says shall not be infringed. Do you think they mean that if they have the right to own a gun, then nothing should stop them? Or do you think that they're saying that doesn't, regardless, you should have a gun?
Shall not be infringed means that right is universal. It means that that you can put no infringement on that right to bear arms. There's no
like for example, I don't know if this is a good example or not, but let's try this out. For everything under the law, as I understand it, I should be able to drive my car. I have the right to drive my car. I have a legal license. I can drive. I don't have any outstanding tickets, any outstanding warrants. There's nothing that should stop me from being able to use my car. So I have that right and I have a license. But if my children decided that I am incompetent and take away my license, is that what they mean by infringe? That everything under the law says I can have my license, but somebody else comes along and takes it.
Well, that's kind of the point I'm making. There is, in every situation, there is somebody who wants to take that person's right away for some reason. If we come back to like Mike Chavola, who is a Second Amendment guy, do you want everybody in Black Lives Matter or Antifa to have atomic weapons and biological weapons at their disposal? I think he would probably answer no to that, but I would love to hear his answer. Do you want the people that you don't like, the people you see as the enemy of the United States, do you want them to have bioweapons? Because we're not just arms today does not mean guns. It means a whole lot more than guns, and it means bioweapons, and it means cyber weapons. It means all those kind of things. Do you want them to have that? Your enemies within the United, because we are a divided country. And as everybody has somebody they see as the enemy of the United, or enemy of the state, or enemy of the country.
Now,
your enemies.
Yeah. Now, for those of you children who weren't around in the '60s, there was a group called the Black Panthers back then. There's like, there was not the Black Panthers that you read about today, but the original old school Black Panthers. And one of their premises was that they went by the book. They did not want the government arresting them for anything stupid, so to speak. So by and large, the Panthers said, okay, if you have a gun, it better be fucking legal. No illegal guns. So if the police did a raid, everybody had a permit for their guns. You never saw white America lose their shit so much as when blacks started arming themselves with legal guns, especially like the Black Panthers. There was a whole, you've never seen the amount of fear put in white America when blacks started to arm themselves like that. Right. So no, they do not want everybody. The people is not universal.
Right. Exactly. Now coming away back to the idea that arms does not mean guns. There was another group in the '60s called the Weather Underground, and they were bombing, institutions in America. They were bombing post offices and banks and corporations. And the same people who defend this idea that the right of the people to bear arms shall not be infringed wanted to take the bombs away from the weather. So the Weather Underground weathermen, whatever the hell they were. So the point is, all 340 million people want to infringe that right for somebody, as long as if it's the people that they deem as bad or the enemy. Everybody wants to take that right away from somebody. And so the people, again, you can say individuals, sure, you can say that, but there are individuals you want to take it away from. How do you get around that? How do you take all that and look at this statement and say that yeah, we could still, for another 200 years, we're going to ride on this statement alone and see how it makes sense 200 years from now. You can't.
So I say let them all have as many guns as they want. They just can't have any bullets. No bullets, no grenades, no rocks for your slingshots. No,
Again,
you can
it's
have a
not.
slingshot, but no rocks.
Yeah, but it's not about guns. It's about what arms mean, and arms are going to continue to evolve, just like the human race is going to continue to evolve. Where do we go from here, and how? How do you even begin to address that? You can't just say, okay, we're all going to agree now to rewrite the Constitution, because we're not going to agree. So where do you go?
It takes 2/3. It takes 2/3 of everything.
So yeah, maybe we are on the verge of some kind of new revolution, but I think I don't see how you can really argue that particular amendment makes any sense in 2024, the way it did in 1790 or whenever 1790 Second Amendment was written, I think. Or 92.
Well, like right now, the interpretations they're using are based on conservative justices. If there's ever a 6-3 liberal court, so to speak, I hate to use that term, but a 6-3 liberal court, that interpretation there is going to be turned on its fucking head.
1791. It was ratified. It was ratified. All right.
So they started writing it before then. I'm just trying to think when the Haitian uprising was. I think that was 1790, or it could be 1789. I can't remember. Damn it. Where's my cat?
Doesn't say anything about that. Anyway, so just interesting conversation. I would love to see some people who think that we should stick with that Second Amendment as written for another 200 years. I'd love to hear somebody try to make that case as to say that, yeah, no, it covers everything we need to cover as far as, how the document is written, how we base our laws off it. If anybody wants to make that case, I would love to hear that. Let me see. Danielle Warnell just popped in to say hello. Hello, Danielle. Rappler 32. What's less than an Uzi? What is this? Double dibs on a corduroy overcoat. This? I don't know what he means by this. I don't know if there were comments. Remember when Weatherman Underground? Yeah, the Weather Underground, right? What the hell? Yeah, no, we're kind of mixing in metaphors here with the weathermen changing their bomb cyclones and atmospheric rivers and all that kind of stuff. I never heard of atmospheric river until yesterday, but I didn't hear of bomb cyclones until about a year and a half ago. So maybe I'm just behind the curve, but I do think the weathermen, not the 1960s and 70s weathermen, but the actual weathermen are just in the marketing business now. They're trying to come across as sexy, because rain isn't sexy enough. You got to have atmospheric.
If you have a bunch of people in wet T-shirts, rain can be sexy. I mean, people make it rain. If it wasn't sexy, they wouldn't do it. They would say, make it cash, but they don't. They specifically say rain. Rain is sexy.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it used to be. There are all songs about rain. Gary Adams. Is that his name? Gary Adams? I think that's the name. Country guy. Songs about rain.
Speaking of songs, I have to add. Well, I wanted to ask while Willie's here, but Willie, if you're listening, you can chime in later. My wife and I were listening to the radio, and the Aerosmith song "Dude Looks Like a Lady" came on. Okay, and my wife is a huge Aerosmith fan. She loves, she's been to 900 Aerosmith concerts. I think she's seen more Aerosmith concerts than they've actually performed. Kind of like Jaja and Pussy and the Cat and stuff. So my wife she's a big Aerosmith fan. And so she asked me my favorite Aerosmith song or something like that. And I said, or asked me about that song. I said, this isn't even the best song about a man dressing like a woman. And she goes, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, first of all, I think the best song about a man dressing as a woman is She's a Dancer by Crack the Sky." I said, and then I would
Don't
go
know.
to like, oh, so, and then I would go to like number 3 on my list was Lola, you know, but uh, again, a man dressed as a woman. So I was just wondering if you have like a favorite song about a man dressed as a woman. What is it?
I would probably go with Lola. You know, that's the only. I mean, dude looks like a lady. I never liked that song anyway. I do like a lot of Aerosmith songs. I don't think that's one of their best songs. I don't know any of the other. What was the other one you mentioned? I didn't. I
Oh,
didn't.
she's a dancer. That is to me that is like the best song ever written about a guy dressing as a woman.
Uh, you know what? There's a Cat Stevens song, and I think a lot of people don't even realize it. I don't know if it's dressing as a woman. I think he's talking to the woman within himself. It's called "Sad Lisa." I should pull up the lyrics to this because because the song's about. It seems to be about a girl. Hold on, "Sad Lisa" lyrics. And I always thought it was about a girl. It's got like a classical feel to it. But somebody I know who was deep into poetry said, this is about him. Says, she hangs her head and cries in my shirt. She must be hurt very badly. Tell me what's making you sadly. Open the door, don't hide in the dark. You're lost in the dark, you can trust me. Because you know that that's how it must be. Lisa, Lisa, said Lisa, Lisa. Her eyes like windows trickling rain upon the path getting deeper. Though my love wants to relieve her, she walks alone from wall to wall, lost in a hall, she can't hear me, though I know she likes to be near me. She sits in the corner by the door, there must be more, I can tell her. If she really wants me to help her, I'll do what I can to show her the way, and maybe one day I will free her, though I know no one can see her. It sounds like he's kind of talking about the woman inside of him. And I never interpreted it that way. I don't know if that even relates to your question, but I think that's deep, much deeper than the kind of dude looks like a lady or what was the other one?
Lola, she's a dancer. There was like boys would be girls, girls would be boys. I think that was that Blur or not? No, that wasn't Pet Shop Boys. So it may have been. Let me see. Boys would be girls would be boys would be girls. Oh, let me see. Damn it. I think that was Blur, but I can't remember now.
I don't know what made you think. What made you think of these cross-dressing songs? Just that you heard?
Because my wife and I were in the radio. We were in the car, and on the radio, the Aerosmith song came on. And so when my wife asked me about Aerosmith, I said, "Well, that's not even the best song about a man dressing as a woman. You know,
It's not?
dude looks like a lady." Oh no, like I said, no, it's not. That's like number 9 or 10. If there are 10 songs about a man dressing as a woman, that's number 9 or number 10. I think that's a terrible song.
Now I'm going to mess up my browser history by doing a search here.
Good. Willie, what's your favorite song about a man dressing as a woman?
I think I'm looking through these lyrics. I think it's this one. There's this one by there's one by I think it's the Charlie Daniels Band where I don't know, they're the only line I can remember is this her hair came off in my hand, turns out this beautiful lady was a beautiful man or whatever. That was, dude, I remember hearing that the first time and just fucking lost my shit. I fucking died. Like I think of it the Charlie Daniels Band, and I think it's Uneasy Rider. But I'm not finding the line I'm looking for. I can't remember. But I swear it's Charlie Daniels. But they have a song.
Well, put the line in quotes in Google and see if it finds it.
Oh, well, you know what? That's a good point.
I got the top 10 songs about cross-dressing list.
Oh,
yeah. Number 10. It scared him away. Sir G.D. took it out. He took it out. He ran away. Jeremy Bender, which is Emerson, Lake and Palmer from the album Tarkus. Jeremy Bender was a man of leisure, took his pleasure. Springy tale of cross-dressing man of leisure, doesn't take himself too seriously. That's number 10. Jeremy Bender. Candy Says, Velvet Underground, Lou Reed. Queen Bitch by David Bowie is number 8. Madam George by Van Morrison. Rebel again by David Bowie. David Bowie, no surprise, has 2 in the top. Okay. Dude Looks Like a Lady is number 5. Royal Orleans.
Way too high.
Royal Orleans by Led Zeppelin. I don't know. I never even paid attention to a lot of Zeppelin lyrics are just too fucking crazy for me. So, I mean, I like Stairway to Heaven, but I'm not going to try and figure out what the hell it means. Walk on the Wild Side. So Lou Reed is back there again. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I'm a Boy by The Who. Don't know. And Lola is number 1. So that other one that you talked about, what?
It's called She's a Dancer by Crack the Sky.
She's a dancer. No, I don't know that one. But that's not even in their top 10.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet they never even fucking heard of it.
I
don't think there's any. There's no way that like that song by Crack the Sky would not be above Aerosmith. They must be going.
What do you mean in terms of quality music? I don't know it. So.
Quality of music. Quality of music. Even the way the words are written. Yeah.
All right, I got a different one. Song. A different one that goes from 1 to 10 in reverse order. So it says the first one is Prince, You and I. Oh, sung by Lady Gaga, but they got a picture of Prince there. I don't know why. So Lady Gaga, that's not a surprise. Obsessed by Mariah Carey.
Yeah, that's a good song.
I Want to Break Free is Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, see, I forgot about that one.
Just Another Girl, number 4. It doesn't say who does it. Just Another Girl. The Killers. Have You Seen Your Mother, Baby, Standing in the Shadows? That's the Rolling Stones, right? Yeah, Rolling Stones. I did not know that.
And now I got to look at the lyrics on that one because I never thought of it that way.
Who's That Girl by the Eurythmics? Didn't know that. Lola again is now on this one at number 7. Skeletons by Stevie Wonder. Wow.
Don't know. No.
One by Mary J. Blige. Bad Liar by Selena Gomez. Long Road Out of Hell by Marilyn Manson. Well, that's no surprise. Ex-Girlfriend.
That's such a good song. That's a
No Doubt
good song.
She's Madonna.
I didn't know that was about. Okay.
She's Madonna by Robbie Williams. Arnold Lane. I don't even know who does this. Pink Floyd? I didn't know that one.
There's a lot more songs about men dressing as women than I realized.
Beautiful Trauma. Who does this? Pink. The Lumberjack song by Monty Python.
Damn it! If I had thought of that would have been like.
That's got to be number 1. Come on.
Yes.
Willie, do you know that song? The Lumberjack song?
No, I don't think so.
Are
you talking about the one with the chain?
You're right. Damn it!
No, Monty Python. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I work at night and I sleep.
I work all day. I cut down trees, I press wildflowers. No, I cut down trees, I skip and jump. I like to press wildflowers. I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars. Damn it!
Yeah. I wish I was a girlie just like my daddy was.
Yes. Just like my dear old man, my dear papa, I think, yeah.
Beautiful Sun by Hole. Girls Chase Boys by Ingrid Michaelson. Well, there's a lot of them here. Where's the Dress by Miss Brandy. Andrew in Drag. I don't know any of these songs by The Magnetic Fields. It goes on and on. Lots and lots. Sweet Transvestite. That was from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Damn, I forgot about that one.
Bloom by Australian singer Toy Sivan. I don't know. That's all of them. So I went through all. There's a lot of them though, and those are just the top ones. And I don't know.
Yeah. So the song I was thinking of. So this is why I got confused. They have 2 songs. So there's the Charlie Daniels Band has Uneasy Rider, but they also have Uneasy Rider 88. And in that song, he okay, so Jiminy Christmas. I'm trying to man, I still can't find the part I'm looking for. But Uneasy Rider 88. It's I am equally surprised about how many cross-dressing songs there are.
Wait, Uneasy Rider 88, who does that? That's not Charlie Daniels.
The Charlie Daniels Band.
There's cross-dressing song in there? There's cross-dressing reference in there? I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean,
we used to play that song. I never wait.
No, because there's two different songs. There's Uneasy Rider, and then there's Uneasy Rider 88. Both by the Charlie Daniels Band.
Wow.
And Uneasy Rider 88 is different.
All right, let me look it up. Anyway, a couple of things. I'm glad. Thanks for taking that tangent, GD, about cross-dressing songs.
Yeah, Jesus.
I'm just okay. I mean, I hate to do this to people. Google Crack the Sky if you can. I'm just saying they are like a fantastic band. Fan fucking tastic. Well, let's put it this way: if you like progressive, if you like great musicianship, good rock and roll, they are a fucking fantastic band.
So you're one of these people who likes to put fuck in the middle of other words, like fan fucking tastic.
Only when it comes to that. Only when it comes to Crack the Sky. I don't do that lightly. I don't do that lightly. I save it for certain moments.
Absolutely. I say abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew a guy who used to talk about his experience in Viet fucking Nam, which is. I'm going to read the lyrics. Uneasy Rider. Uneasy Rider 88. Me and my buddy got us a wild hair and figured we wanted to go somewhere. So we loaded up my ragtop Chevrolet. We had a little bit of money and a whole lot of show with Hank Jr. blaring on the radio. We got this tank full of gas and we was on our way. We figured we'd go down to New Orleans. They were boarding down Old 17 when a man with a blinking red light on his was on our tail. He said, "You're all doing 60 and 45, but I'm going to let you go this time. But if I catch you again, I'm going to put you in the county jail." We said, "Thank you, sir. You sure been nice." And then he didn't have to tell us twice. And then we were southbound going down. So far, nothing about cross-dressing. We're going down with the wind blowing in our knees. We kept rolling, and pretty soon the radio was cooking. We're out of Haggard tune, and they were pulling up into Houston, checking out them old places. I was feeling dry, and I said, "I think we ought to stop and get ourselves a drink." And old Jim said, "Yeah, because we got time to kill." And we kept rolling, and I see the spot, and we pulled into the parking lot, and there was a place called Cloud 9 Bar and Grill. We walked into the door, and the place was jammed. The lights were low. They had a punk rock band, and now we'll probably get into it. And some orange-haired fellas singing about suicide. I said, "Jim, this ain't our kind of place." He said, "Let's just have one round anyway." So against my better judgment, we walked on the inside, went up to the bar and sat down. The fellow walked up and said, "I'll buy this round." And he sat down on the bar stool next to Jim. He looked like a girl, but he talked like a guy. Is that the part? He had lipstick on and mascara in his eyes, and everybody in that place looked about like him. I said to Jim, "This ain't our kind of bar. Let's go on and get back in the car because it's going to be trouble." And I sense taking a chance. What, are you worried about guys who are dressed up like girls beating you up? Is that what we was getting ready to leave when somebody grabbed old Jim by the sleeve and good-looking girl was asking my buddy to dance. Wow, there's a lot of lyrics in this. I said, "Jim, don't go there."
It's like Gilligan's Island.
It's fucking unbelievable. I said, "I'm not even halfway through."
No, it goes.
This is the country American Pie.
So the only thing that so far, I mean, I don't really want to read all these fucking lyrics, but because it just goes on and on. The only thing that seemed like it might be about cross dressing there was the guy that he had lipstick on and mascara in his eyes, right? He looked like a girl. It was
I mean, it gets worse. They get in a tussle because or whatever.
That's a long song. Jesus,
it is a really long song.
I would be surprised to see him do it live if he remembered it all.
On country in a country radio station, that's probably the song they play to go to the bathroom. It's like Inagata de Vida, 2112. It's like it's one of those 20-minute songs that you use to go to the bathroom.
Right. I didn't play a commercial at all today, did I? I didn't.
No, not yet.
I thought that was a commercial.
That was commercial for Charlie Daniels Band. Let's do a really quick one here. Commercial get longer. I could have sworn it was shorter than that. All right, that's a Tracy's Dog commercial. Tracy'sDog.com.
Bro.
It feels like it got longer.
My wife says she's gonna get me one of those.
All right. I guess you're too aggressive, or she needs you to calm down a little more. Like, why? Why would she get you?
I mean, I'm real finicky. No, what it is like I'm real finicky when it comes to blowjobs, and I'm really hard to make come. So she wants to see if that thing can give her a fucking break, so her jaw doesn't hurt.
Finicky. Wow.
I don't know how much that thing costs, but I'm willing to bet you could probably just get like a woman without teeth to try. Just
Oh, my wife is optional. Actually, my wife comes with teeth optional, so that's great. So,
I'm just looking up to see how much it costs. Male.
I do too, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, you've let us know that your commercial reading depends on how well your teeth are secured in your mouth.
You know what? It's not listed on this site. The turbo is.
Oh, the price?
Yeah. There are things that look like it. Male starting at $39.99. Sam's Realistic Vagina, or Osborne Blowjob Masturbator, which is at $89.99. And then you have the Steel Can Automatic Male Masturbator, which looks like Turbo. Probably is. Yeah, that's what it is. They have it listed as Steel Can Automatic Male Masturbator, $116.99. That ain't no.
I thought everything there was $50. If they're going to be charging $116, they're no better than the place that rip off people. Other places that rip off people. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that about a sponsor.
Don't ever say that about it.
What a bargain!
Now maybe we should. You know what? I'll reach out to Mr. Geronimo and see if we can get him on the show and address some of these things. Now there is a picture of a guy about to put one of these things on, but he's still wearing his pants. He hasn't opened his pants yet, but there's a picture of a guy with the thing, and he's ready.
Well, that's how good it is. It's so good you don't even have to open your pants.
Yeah,
it just works right.
Looks like he's about to use Sam's Realistic Vagina Masturbator's cup.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I would not want a database. I would not want a database existing anywhere in the world with my name as a masturbator. I just, I don't know. Maybe I'm funny.
Well, I was on a debate team in high school, and I was pretty good at it. I was pretty fucking good.
This weekend, I checked out my Netflix subscription. I have a Netflix subscription that I never use. Couple of things. Why I was
One thing you should
interested.
know is they don't send out DVDs anymore. Just so you know, they don't
Yeah.
send out DVDs.
Did they ever Netflix? No, Netflix was
Yeah,
always.
that's how they started.
Yeah,
They used
I
to
thought
send
the-
DVDs to your house.
I thought that was the Red Box or something. Not Net.
No, Netflix started. Netflix
that
started
shit.
out. Yeah, they started out with DVDs. As a matter of fact, there was another. I used to. Well, my wife has still belonged to Netflix, but we started off with getting the DVDs in the mail. But there was another thing I used to give as Christmas gifts. There was a company that specialized in independent films, and you could just subscribe to like an independent film, and it would send your friends a new independent film a month on DVD. That's how I used to give those out as Christmas gifts years ago.
I don't know where the net part came in. If they were delivering hard copy to your door, that seems kind of weird. But so I was interested in
online. It was online.
You'd order it
ordered it online, and they'd send it to you. Yeah.
And then you'd have to mail it back to them, or did you keep?
Yeah, it came with a pre-stamped envelope. The envelope was pre-addressed or pre-stamped, but you just take it out, play it, put it back in, and send it.
And then they'd send you.
You didn't have to lick the envelope. It came with the little peel-off thing.
I ain't licking any envelopes. It's just you never know.
I was just saying there was no reason for your tongue to touch the product at all. Your tongue didn't have to touch the disc. You didn't have to touch the envelope. There's no reason. I'm not saying that people didn't lick those things. I'm just saying there's no reason for your tongue to have touched any of that merchandise.
All right,
good old days.
I was interested in this Pop's Greatest Night. You know about the Greatest Night in Pop, or you know about that? It's about the making of We Are the World in 1985, January of 1985. You know about that documentary?
I'm not sure.
Pretty interesting
documentary.
It's pretty interesting because about a month before Geldof came out with Do They Know It's Christmas Time? Bob Geldof came up. And this was an attempt by Americans, Quincy Jones and Bob Cragen, who was a record industry producer, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and Lionel Richie, to kind of use that same idea. There was a famine in Ethiopia, and they were addressing that, and they put together this song, and they had all of the greatest people in pop music at the time come to A&M Studios to record this song in one night, and it's about all the stuff that went through there. I didn't realize that Lionel Richie, who was part of the main cog in the wheel here, he had hosted the American Music Awards that night. So he prepared all day for hosting this show, host the American Music Awards. When that's over, they got to go to A&M Studios and run this whole friggin' thing. A lot of people there, some back drama on it.
Is that where the video of Michael Jackson mean-eyeing him comes from? I bet you it is, because there's like a video online of Michael Jackson I'm pretty sure it's Lionel Richie he's giving the mean mug to because he's not singing it the way he wants or whatever. I'm trying to find it real quick.
I don't know. But Prince, they wanted Prince there. And according to Sheila E., because Sheila E. got a American Music Award that night for Glamorous Life, and she was close with Prince, and she went there thinking that, wow, all these superstars want me, and she was but it occurred to her 3 hours into it or 4 hours into it, they're just using me. They want me to keep calling Prince to get Prince to come. Prince had no interest in being there because he was afraid of large groups of people. He did not want to be, he was intimidated by large groups of people. He didn't want to be there. But she says that they were using her to get to him. But it's just an interesting thing. Bob Dylan is there, and Bob Dylan looks so out of fucking place, and he looks like, what the fuck am I doing here? And then he was one of the last people to sing, and he couldn't get his line down. So Stevie Wonder brought him over to the piano, and Stevie Wonder did an impression of him singing the line, like Stevie Wonder doing his best Bob Dylan for Bob Dylan, so that Bob Dylan could get it. And then Dylan started to lighten up and think, wow, that's cool. But why don't you just do it for me? You just, you just, hey, yeah, whatever Bob Dylan sounds like. But a really interesting piece. Go ahead.
I thought Bob Dylan was like in the second verse. Because I did a song parody of that song.
He might be in the second. I don't remember exactly where he is, but he was one of the last ones recorded.
Right, that's right. That's right. Because it doesn't have to be linear, right? You can, right? Got you. Right.
Yeah.
See,
Him and Springsteen went last, and when you say last, remember it started after the American Music Awards. It was a late night thing, so it was like 8 o'clock in the morning by the time they're singing their parts. Now they've been up all night. Al Jarreau apparently was an alcoholic and wanted to start celebrating early and just kept drinking wine. Like every time they'd sing a line, he'd go, "Oh, open up another bottle," and he got so drunk he couldn't remember. They were worried he was like going to forget all this stuff. Some really interesting stuff there. So bottom line with the Prince thing, though, Prince did not show up, and they had a line especially for him. I'm just going to put this out there and see if you guys can guess. Who sung the line that would have been Prince's line? Anybody?
Let me see here.
Anybody in the chat room want to guess this one? If they've seen the documentary, they know.
Well, I can't even remember everybody who sang, so I'm just going to say Dionne Warwick. What the hell?
That's a good guess. Dionne was paired with Willie Nelson on her. They had them together. Dionne and Willie Nelson. No, it's Huey Lewis. Huey Lewis and Kenny Loggins was the one that suggested that. What?
Oh my God, bro, you're gonna fucking die about the video that I'm about to fucking share. That's so funny that's what.
What? Play it. Are you gonna play it?
There's no way. Hang on, I'm trying to get the screen. Okay, here it is.
Is this gonna get? Wait, is this gonna get us a major copyright strike? Because if so, not a problem. If
I have no idea.
It's celebrity singing.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, well, it'll probably get us a strike, but I don't mind it. I just going to put a B on it so I can edit
on
it.
YouTube. It's a YouTube short.
Okay, go ahead.
How do I?
We're still at the how do I stage.
This could be a lot. Screen here.
But so while he's trying to figure that out,
right?
Present, yes.
Screen share. I'm on it.
And then you find your tab. Got to make sure that tab says include audio on the bottom. Anyway, the unusual pairings in there. Dionne Warwick and Willie Nelson.
Okay, hang on. Include audio, you said?
Yeah, there should be a tab depending on what browser. Are you using Chrome browser? Yeah, it should be a tab that says a little check mark to include the audio with it. Might be already pre-checked.
Okay.
Kim Barnes and yeah, there it is. That's cool. Let it go.
Really, it's going to make me find it again? No, this one. Is it coming?
Well, there's a video showing of YouTube there, but it doesn't look like. It just looks American.
Is it playing?
No, nothing's playing.
Why is it doing that?
I don't know. It's just showing you the page.
Okay, it did the wrong one. Hang on, it did the wrong one.
By the way, Willie will be doing a Lord and His Lady again tomorrow night.
Sorry, everyone, I'm bad at this though. I'm learning.
It looks like he probably still needs me to run the back end for tomorrow night, according to what we're seeing right here.
I gotta hear it.
Or maybe we could have GD do it, and then it won't actually go out, and people will just be.
Yeah, because I'm having trouble doing it on my phone because I'm using my phone and my phone doesn't give me that option.
There we go.
You got a spinning wheel of spinningness that is spinning while it spins. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so look at Michael Jackson's face during this video. He's fucking he's so mad at me.
I don't see nothing. I see the video, but it looks like Springsteen is locked up. We're looking at Bruce Springsteen's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't have the bandwidth to do this. Yeah, bandwidth problem.
The one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's the part. But where it started there, We're not going to be able to see that. Where it started there was right after the Huey Lewis line, when Kim Carnes and Cyndi Lauper and then Huey come in, stand together as one. That's right after the line that would have been Prince's line that Huey Lewis put in there. But it was very good. Huey Lewis we lost Willie completely now. Huey Lewis seemed like a really cool guy. He's the coolest guy in that whole documentary. But anyway. So that's one of the things I'm recommending on Netflix. Go see that if you haven't. It's called The Greatest Night in Pop. I think it's like an hour long. Willie's trying to get his bandwidth back. I think YouTube sucked all the bandwidth out of him.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly what happened. I was like, where'd I go? What happened?
Yeah. So Greatest Night in Pop, that's what I'm recommending on Netflix now. Another thing I found, we got time for it? Yeah, we have plenty of time here. A 3-part series called American Nightmare. You guys familiar with this thing? American Nightmare?
Nope.
My first marriage?
I don't want to. It's on Netflix. Yeah, it's a 3-part thing. It's probably only a little over 2 hours, all 3 parts played if you binge it. I don't want to give away the whole story here, but it's fucking bizarre. It starts out with a young couple about 29, 30 years old in California, and they're living together, and there's a home invasion, and they think there's 3 guys, but they only hear one. The guy puts goggles on and zip ties the male and puts goggles on him so he's blinded, and then makes him lay down on the floor and makes the girl lay on top of him while he injects them with sedatives that are NyQuil-based sedatives or something. And tells them that there's 3 of them, they're ex-military, and they're there to kidnap the girl, but they didn't mean to kidnap her. They meant to kidnap the guy's ex-girlfriend. The guy hears them take his girl away, put her in the trunk of the car, drive off, and tell him they're putting up a video camera to watch him. If you call the police, we're going to kill her, and we want $15,000. $15,000 does not seem like enough for a kidnapping charge. Kidnapping, if you're going to start at $15,000, you seem like an amateur just to start with. But so they take the girl away, and then the sedative starts to kick in. The guy still got goggles on, and he passes out, and then he's out for like 5 hours. Then he decides he's going to call the police anyway, even though this camera is watching him, because he doesn't know what to do. He hasn't heard from the kidnappers. He only has $3,500, not $15,000. So he calls the cops, and the cops treat him as a suspect and think, you're making this whole story up. What'd you do with the girl? Where'd you bury her? All this stuff. And they're interrogating him. Now, his family is also concerned, like, what's going on? And her family has this guy. They're totally suspicious of him. I don't want to give this whole fucking thing away. Maybe I don't know where to stop, though, because it gets so much fucking... 2 days into it, a San Francisco San Francisco Chronicle reporter gets a text message from the girl, proof of life, that I'm okay. Here's what happened in the news today. There was an avalanche in the Alps or something like that. But I'm okay. I've been kidnapped. Otherwise, I'm fine. This reporter gets that. He goes to the police with it. They don't believe that it's really her. They get the family to listen to it. Yes, it's really her. But she sounds so calm. Now, is she in on this hoax? So they know he didn't kill her, but they're still thinking it's a hoax, and then now they're suspecting the guy and the girl for doing something. Then they start comparing it to Gone Girl and think this girl set him up because she's angry at the boyfriend for still talking to his ex-girlfriend, and she's doing this whole thing. It gets weirder from there. But it was like a 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes of what the fuck do you make of this story? It had me intrigued right from the beginning because it just had so many twists and turns. Called American Nightmare. That's where I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to give away. If anybody watches the thing, I think they'll be like, holy fuck, man. Weird shit goes on.
I'm sure my wife and I will watch it. That's kind of, she loves that kind of stuff. So my wife and I will probably watch it. We have Netflix.
Yeah. So. But the overall takeaway.
I do want to mention today, I got my first payment from my streaming today, a whole $20 or whatever. But like, I'm very excited that I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
hey, $20 is $20.
It's crazy. Yeah. $20 is $20. No, I'm, and it's like, even though it's like small stuff, trickly stuff, but to me, it's the beginning. Listen, the biggest floods start with just a little, like there's just a little water at first. It'll come, and I'm really excited. I actually woke up. I was writing the song at 4:30 this morning because I woke up and there was one phrase that has been going through my head the last couple of days, and I've been really thinking about how I want to, incorporate that into a song. And I woke up this morning and it was just on me, and so I was literally at 4:30 this morning sitting at the table just writing lyrics, trying to sing soft enough to not wake up my wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you going back to the recording thing? And where wasn't there recording guys in Oklahoma or something?
New Mexico. Yeah, we recorded that at Folklore Studios in New Mexico. Danica and I will be traveling back to New Mexico February 18th. And then we'll be there for a little bit while we try and figure out exactly what we're doing. We were thinking Texas, but with everything going on down there, I just don't think it's a good time to be moving to Texas. So
what is really going on down there
in Las Vegas? But no matter what, we have to.
What is really going on in Texas?
I don't fucking know. I'm fucking nervous. I don't like it.
From what I can tell, there was going to be a trucker convoy. It ended up being guys in pickup trucks, not semis.
They were predicting 20,000 vehicles, and they got 20 or something.
Yeah, and now they're doing christenings in a river. And having rock concerts. They're doing concerts and christenings. It doesn't seem like they know there's really anything going on there.
That's what it seems. That's what I'm saying. The whole fucking world is fucking. It's ridiculous.
I think it's overblown. I mean, it's just a spectacle and distraction.
Yeah. So, and then when I say concert,
but see, that's the other thing. If it's a distraction, then what's the fucking shitstorm that's really brewing? You know what I mean? You can say it's a distraction, but that makes me even more fucking nervous.
But when I say concerts, I don't mean it's not a Taylor Swift concert, that's for sure. It's
yet.
It is people you never heard of who can barely play or sing.
So why wasn't I invited to that then?
I know you should be headlining it.
Yes, I should. I should be people with no talent. I should be number one.
Yeah.
Speaking of Taylor Swift, I do have a question. I want to ask your opinion about something. So during her acceptance speech, I believe of her second award, because she won a couple different times last night. But during her last acceptance speech or whatever, she thanked the Academy, she thanked her fans, and then she plugged her new album that's coming out. What are your opinions on that? Do you think that an award show acceptance speech is a proper place to plug your new album, or is that?
I don't
think an award show is a proper. I don't think an award show is a proper anything. No.
To be honest, if we're totally honest about what an award show is, it's all fucking marketing anyway. I don't have a problem with that because it's all phony. And listen, I'm not a Taylor Swift lover or hater. I don't really know any of her music, but she is definitely one of the most successful people in music monetarily. And if you're going to talk about money-making machines, that's what she is. She's a money-making machine. And the industry and the Grammy night is about money.
Smart move.
Yeah, but the Grammy Awards is basically a marketing thing for modern pop music anyway. So why not have your biggest money maker out there doing even more money making? I don't have a problem with it because I don't pay attention to it, and it's not part of my life.
I'm just curious that she would even say it, because I don't think she can do anything that doesn't sell automatically. I mean, if she didn't even announce that she had an album, just put it on sale quietly on April 19th, just made it available on her site. I'm sure that by noon that day, there'd be like 1 million being copies sold already.
Well,
How
let me
the
just.
fuck did you know what day it was, bro?
Well, no, because the date is out. I said so
You
just a few
just
minutes
said it.
ago.
Oh, yeah, somebody just said it.
Okay. Okay.
But and the reason I know it
don't
is
know.
because
Okay.
it was quoted that she said it's coming out on April 19th. The date is significant. You know the significance of April 19th?
3 days after tax day.
It's the day before the 20. It's the day I got to make sure to get weed.
Hitler's birthday, Columbine, Waco, Ruby Ridge. I could go.
That's the 20th.
419.
That's the 20th.
Yeah, the 20th is when it was done, but it is part. They did it for Hitler's birthday. All of those, Hitler is 419. I believe his birthday is 419. But part of the celebration on that, yeah, Hitler's birthday. Let me look that up just to be correct. But the reason they picked the date, I'm looking it up. Hold on. Yeah, April 20th. Okay, but the reason they picked the 419 date for Columbine, Waco, all of those things was as a celebration of Hitler's birthday. All of the Ruby Ridge. Ruby Ridge was initiated by the FBI more than on that date. I mean, but all of those things are around April 19th. So
it's also 3 days after the anniversary of my being struck by lightning.
Right.
Which I'm sure she was aware of. Well,
Right.
struck twice by lightning. I'm sure she was aware of that, and she thought of that when she did that.
I'm just making sure that yeah, all of them basically, yeah, 19th for Waco. Started on the 19th, finished on the 20th. What does that would mean? It didn't take a full day. Waco was basically a couple of hours, right? But
my impression.
I'm
pretty sure Waco.
Well, yeah, it was lasting a while because they had time to.
I'm talking about the final.
Oh, the actual siege.
Yeah, all that's where the tanks roll in and they burn down the building.
Right.
Was that the 20th or the 19th? Anyway, that whole time is basically, you know, it's not a good time for anybody who is an enemy of the far right to be doing stuff. It's just a curious date for me to pick out.
Right.
So
did you talk to the Billboard people or whatever?
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. You guys aren't even on any of it. You're not on the poster. You're not in the ad. I asked for a revision of it. At least mention it's me and Erica Rhodes mostly.
Okay.
But I asked for a revision. I said I'm not approving it. You guys got to be recognized somewhere. Artwork might be a difficult thing. I said, well, at least have their names featured in it. And I overall happy with the poster. The idea of the poster. It's a lot of space and a lot of names that people want. You know, they got comedians' names on there. Who they think have star power, people I've interviewed, who I don't think most of the public would know.
Segura? Tell me Tom Segura's not on there.
Tom Segura was never on the program. But, you know, Stanhope is big. He has a cult following, but I don't think people riding the train in New York, the majority of people even know who he is. Henry Phillips is another one. You know, people like that. There were a lot of names on there that while I hold these comedians in high esteem, I don't think the general public would relate to them at all. Like, what does that mean to me? I mean, Robert Klein's name was in there. People my age know Robert Klein. People your age don't know. But neither one of you guys were on either the video ad or the poster. So,
okay, I'll save my trip to New York.
Okay. Well, I asked for a revision, and I probably will get the revision sometime this week. But I'm not starting it until you guys at least get recognized somehow on that thing, whether in name, form, or picture or whatever. I understand why they use the screenshot of me interviewing Erica Rose, because it looks happy. It looks funny. She's laughing. I'm laughing, and she's a name that some people in middle America or regular consumers might know. But I don't think like a lot of the Sam Talent, who I hold in high esteem. I don't think people know who he is. They had a whole list of featured. It's like, you know what? People don't really know that. Just put great comedians, musicians, whatever. The titles of what they do rather than the actual names will be more, will resonate more with people. But so I'm not happy with any of it. That was part of my bummed out thing this whole weekend. Not a happy weekend. Plus, thinking about, it's funny because Lee committed suicide a week before the Grammys, but his memorial was on a date of the Grammys, and he was kind of obsessed with the Grammys. It's a weird thing. It's like almost like, did he do it thinking that people are gonna meet and talk to me about the Grammys? It was like a whole bummed out fucking Sunday for me. Actually, the whole weekend was pretty bummed out. Not a good time. Feeling like last week I ended on a bad note, and it had such promise at the beginning of the week. Anyway, so that's where we stand with that. I meant to start with that earlier on, but I forgot about it. So yeah, we'll get a revision sometime this week, but not really happy with a lot of money being spent and not anticipating a whole lot of bang for the buck. It seems like buyer's remorse. It's not a good thing. Got to let it go. But I can't help feeling like, wow, did I waste a whole fucking ton of money I could be doing something positive with? I don't know. So that's got me down. All of it. Yeah. So thanks for bringing me back into that state. Hopefully I'll snap out of it tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Tomorrow, Johnny Rullo, who is the leader of the Cocktails, will be with me at 10:15. The author, who was scheduled for 9:15, is rescheduled for a Wednesday night sometime down the road. What happened with those guys? The truck stop guy, truck stop song. What was it? The guy you were going to book for the evening
tailgating party song guy.
Tailgate party, truck stop, tailgate, all same thing. You don't remember your friend? Tailgate.
None of that's how you make your living.
You want to try and do a night show?
I said get him on there if you want to offer him that.
What?
Last week I told you to get back in touch.
Yeah, okay, that's my fault. You know what? That's my fault. I've totally talked to him like two or three times since then. But yeah, no, I'll make sure to do that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, he asked about the night show, and I told him no.
Yeah, we could get a Wednesday spot. Do you have a Wednesday spot coming up?
Fuck no. It's the next one that's available. It's probably
he's
April.
Got a hell of an interesting story. Yeah. No. For Wednesday night, you said it's probably April.
Yeah, Wednesday, probably April is the first open slot now. Yeah.
Man. Okay.
And Black Flag.
We can schedule them for that, I guess.
Yeah. Black Flag is scheduled for Friday. Black Seals,
right?
No, this week. This Friday.
Oh yeah, this week. This Friday. Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that
I knew it was coming up soon.
Do they know about time zone issues and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've talked with them extensively, and I'll see them on Tuesday. They're going to be doing my neck tattoo on Tuesday, and and all three of them will be on together from the same feed, so that won't be an issue either. They'll be coming from they're going to do it live in that side room next to the tattoo shop where we have comedy shows and music shows sometimes.
Are you going to go there and do it with them?
They're going to all three be on the same feed.
Are you going to go there?
I hadn't planned on it. I planned on just going here.
All right. No, it just seems like in case there is a delay issue, at least there'd be one delay. If you will.
The delay could be between them and the room, though. He could be right in the room and have a delay.
You know what?
Yeah. I don't know. They might have really good connectivity and might not have a delay. So you never know. I don't think Jerry Irby had a delay, and he was basically from the same area, right? Anyway, so that time zone issues are
Yeah,
a
me
thing.
and Jerry were on from the same house. Yeah.
Right. Wednesday, I had a guy booked for 9:15 a.m. and then he confirmed yesterday. He said 9:15 PST. I was like, no, that would be 12:15 my time. We're off the air every day by that time by a long shot. And I made sure. I said when we booked it, it's 9 a.m. Eastern time. So I don't know if he's going to show up Wednesday or not. Time zones are always a fucking problem getting people to understand. You can put it in big bold letters, Eastern time. I don't know why people seem to have a problem with that. It seems to be an easy thing. We learned about this in elementary school, didn't we?
We do. But I think that some people get confused because if you look